I'll be reading one poem from a series of poems that I'm currently writing. It's called Hollows in the Verse Where We Once Lived. I spent an eternity in a state forced between the gaps in space, neither sleep nor wake but dreaming, the place where reality resides, behind the cracks of this fragmented force-fed lie, branded in opal lights. I had a vision of man, and it was a few delights. I saw the earthen orange gripped in the palm of a powerful fist, a tangerine in the clutches of a careless kid, tossing it teasingly from hand to hand till the fruit gave birth to a burrowing man who pierced the sun's skin crying carpe diem, soiled in pith and watery membrane. He wriggled over the lumps of life's lunar peel, a streak of piss, shit, cum and wallow left in his wake, a history to be traced with one's finger to a hollow in the earth grow deep, the core rotten where he used to sleep safe and sound and snug in a fruitful womb. His flesh revealed, now dependent and decayed, his skin flayed to a black back, twisted vines beneath the cracks, his skull stripped and peeled wide, his mind a dark watery mire, the seed for the eternal lotus flower, Utpala Naraka. Utpala Naraka blossomed in his brain, absorbed of all colour, tainted in the memory of man, ignoring warnings weighed in the balance of Belshazzar's hand, his prince of blood and petals forever tossed in the wind, his offspring left wanting, absorbed and bound in iron and bronze, hands cuffed, eyes covered, mouths gagged, heading nowhere, but forced to praise the gods of gold and silver, jingling the chains like loose change or shopping bags designer, made to suffer within the gaps between space for subverting state power with nothing more than a word or two. A word or two now condemned to the pyre, a million manuscripts stacked high by mechanical men obeying Utpala Naraka, placing books like concrete slabs to pave a stairway or tower that reaches the heights of heaven, that raises hell on earth when lit and burnt to cinders, that lick the air, the kiddie's fingers to erase the blood of the orange whose stink still lingers. A two-fingered V trapped between the teeth, a citric freedom awaiting its release to be whistled in the wind with the pumped-out ashes scattered from the factory tops, showers of teardrops crystallized in human snow and languished letters flickering on the airwaves, the burrowing man cracking up and the lotus flower lapping it up, the bugs still burning and the bones still burning and countless voices crying out in agony, their words and stories muted. I lived their eternity and saw it emblazoned upon our shirts where the gold star was laid to rest. A concentration of stars not fed, extinguished, human cattle branded with sell-by dates and best before dates and lampshades made of skin and testes, veins illuminating into the night. I spent their eternity in the bellies of our babies, bloated and swollen with alien faces, now but food for flies, mothers' breasts dried thanks to some West corporate stunt, starvation stamped in money and a city of junk whose skyscrapers were orange cartons and egg boxes, mansions, used condoms, the local swimming baths for kids already thrown and discarded into the shit they have to sift, children howling hungry to the moon. I saw their eternity measured in breadths, a ruler of nose, neck and heads, cut into shoulder blades and breasts, where machetes mounted high and a blood river ran deep down the street, and babies lay bashed against the rocks, split apart by rape, a boy in the midst crying, mother smiling from an ear-to-ear slit, the dogs looking forward to dinner. I heard their eternity echo in narcissistic commands. Crime is a crime. But not to let man perish, starving to wear what they cherish, their own thoughts and shirts, force-fed our own intestinal dirt for freedom, necks wrenched back and spines wrung out like sponges, and penetrating checks of the anus, and prized mouths prized open like clams with the same fecal fingers. The taste of shit always lingers. I felt their eternity in lynch mobs and curb stomps and burning tires and crosses, cleansing across the land, man or wolf to man, devouring our children in madness and fear, like Ugolino and Saturn and Lear, the youths kettled into squares, beaten with batons with little care, attacked with tanks and other governmental wares. So Buddha burns himself in the street, and Jesus gets beheaded, pondering the chains at his feet, and hooded Muhammad is forced to his knees in an orange jumpsuit under a military boot, praying to Allah that the arrow to Mecca be true. And downtrodden we cry, there's not much that we can fucking do. So turning our eyes blind, we lead each other as the innocent sleeping safe and sound and snug in their beds get marched off before being shot in their heads with a simple flick of a mechanical switch. I saw it. Life. Their eternity of common house lights to be extinguished with simple flicks of the switch. Our lotus wombs left irradiated, rotten, depleted uranium warping our unborn craniums till they grow one arm, one leg, two head, too many. Looking forward and back, a double enigma of poisonous shells clamped down, draining. Sweet Enola Gay carved into magic mushrooms, gamma ray trips blinding in a blast of flashing colour, and clouds turning to ice and winds whistling at hundreds of miles per hour, and our people tripped out, dragging in the dirt, shreds of clothing torn from their backs, their guts trailing behind, pinned and pecked by crested ibis. Prometheus inverted, delivered from his home, the land where genocide was perfected. Recognizing the eternal maggot, the careless kid dropped his orange and stamped on it, and the shockwaves rang out. Eyes open, I was finally woken, bound and chained in bedsheets with sweat dripping from my forehead to a rock of a bed. The place my lover lay next to me, lamenting my feverish night, pecking my sight with kisses. In the cities, the lights flicked from on to off to sleep. Evidently another eternity still remains deep behind closed eyes, waiting, undisturbed. Thank you.